Hello, folks. Welcome back to another special edition. Again, we are joined for the second time by the wonderful Matt Halper of PheromoneCologne.com. It's going to be really exciting, and he's going to be taking us through his current top 5 fragrances that are rocking his world. Before we do that, don't forget my recommended UK-based fragrance sampling site is fragrancesamplesuk.com. Use my code SMELLY10 for 10% off across their huge range of fragrances. And in the USA, my recommended USA-based site is decantboutique.com, and there my code is Mr. Smelly 10. Both places linked in the description of this video. One more thing, Norton and Wilson have a new exciting harmony set on our site. So if you would like to get Bon Viveur and Gravitas Essentia, there's a really great deal where you can get both fragrances shipped to your door for just $208 or £168. Bon Viveur actually comes in our new fancy upgraded packaging. You'll get the traditional packaging. Thus, for Gravitas Essentia, go to Norton and Wilson.com. Okay, let's bring in our lovely guest and find out what's going on. Hello, Matt. How are you?
How are you? Great to see you. How's everything going?
Everything is great here in gloomy grey Britain, but soon the daffodils will spring out and it will hopefully be a little bit brighter. How are things over there in the States?
Very busy as always. We're here in Philadelphia, right in the center of the fashion district here. It's very, very cold. But today we have some sunlight, so it's nice.
That's lovely. Okay, that's great. So today we're going to find out all about your top 5 fragrances that are rocking your world right now. Just in case anybody hasn't seen you, you are Matt Halper, the man behind PheromoneCologne.com.
That's correct.
And we've linked it in the description, and you can see it across the bottom of the screen. Just tell us then, what is that all about for people who perhaps didn't see the last video?
What's PheromoneCologne.com about?
Yes.
Well, gosh, it's literally the first and only one of its kind Pheromone Cologne French Eau de Parfum superstore for men and women. We have a total of over 30 different fragrances, variations of pheromones, different styles of beautiful Italian glass enclosures to choose from. And it's the only superstore, like I said before, like it of its kind for very high potency pure pheromone colognes.
Absolutely great. And you've got quite a wide range of different ones. I believe you have kind of 2 varieties of things. So some of them are actual fragrance perfumes with fine French perfumery involved with the pheromones, and some of them are just really the pheromone sprays on their own, which I guess you could combine with any other fragrance of your choice. Is that right?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay,
yes.
So I'll be interested maybe to just talk about that in conjunction with your other picks that you're going to say. So you're going to tell us about 4 fragrances from other brands that you're really loving, and maybe the one that you're most excited about.
Sure.
Your own brand at the moment. So fire away.
I'm happy to share. You know, asking me what my favorite cologne is. I'm seasonal, really, but I mean, my gosh, I mean, there's so many top colognes that I love. But
what is your type of thing? Because I'm known for my love of old school.
I'm really into gourmands. I love gourmands. I mean, that's what the private collection is. I like to say that I specialize in gourmand fragrances. But I like the French fragrances, the European fragrances very much. You know, Dior Sauvage, all the Parfum de Marly's I love, and Doja Rove, and all the lovely, you know, French colognes perfumes. But what I have handy to share with you is these are my little lovelies. Of course, I have a lovely heart for the Tom Ford Lost Cherry.
Tom Ford Lost Cherry. Okay,
I just love it.
That certainly fits with the gourmand thing. So what is it about that one particularly
you know,
that
again,
you love so much?
In our last interview, I explained when I smelled Lost Cherry for the first time. This was in the fashion district in Miami years ago when it first came out. And the first time I smelled this baby, well, this isn't the original bottle. I bought obviously several since, but the cherry essence that comes out of here when I smelled it the first time was absolutely mind-boggling for me. And like I said in our last discussion, Dan, it impressed me so much that I went on like this logistical mission to find out how I could create something, if not better, most certainly similar. And it led us to our very famous and very popular Sacred Cherry.
I see. Okay, great.
So that's that one. My next lovely favorite is also Tom Ford once again. And this is the Tom Ford Soleil Blanc. I just love it. It's just so It's explosive. It's full of ambers. You could wear this every day and anywhere, and you will always get compliments like, wow, what is that? What are you wearing? Very much the same compliments that we get to hear from people who wear our colognes, because it's just so unique. So I'm a big Tom Ford fan.
Yeah, Soleil Blanc is a really
Yeah.
interesting one because
It
it's
is.
obviously the name implies it might be something that's great to wear in the sun, and indeed it is. But it's
Correct.
it's kind of done in a very different way to the Neroli Portofino or the other ones that come in the blue
Yes.
bottles. It's a different kind of aroma. How would you sort of describe what you smell from that one that you love so
Oh
much?
my God, the Soleil Blanc. It's like an explosion of European summertime fun. I mean, everything I get out of the Soleil Blanc, it just reminds me of Europe. I've spent so much of my life, half my life was spent there, really. All the times I've traveled back and forth and then living there. But the Soleil Blanc, just to me personally, it's very European, like the French Riviera or something on vacation, you know?
Okay. Fantastic. Just going back to the Lost Cherry one,
Yeah.
obviously little bit of a
Love it.
cheeky title there, which is very typical of Tom Ford. He also had, of course, there was one called Rose Prick,
Yeah.
and another one
Little
called
light. I wasn't a fan of that,
Oh,
actually.
okay. Another one called Effing Fabulous. What do you think about
You
his
know,
sort of
I'll tell
marketing?
you
Because
something. When
he
that
manages,
effing,
he keeps
sorry?
it up. He keeps his reputation as a very sort of upscale, exclusive brand, and yet he does do these rather provocative kind of names and sort of sexually provocative things now and
Yeah.
again. What do you think about it? How does he get
Yeah.
away with that?
Well, it's okay. It's Tom Ford. I mean, Vanilla Sex was the most recent one I think
Oh,
he
was
came
it?
out
Okay.
with. Yeah, Vanilla Sex, which is great. But the effing fabulous, or let's say the King Fabulous, let's abbreviate
Yeah.
that grand first word there.
Yes.
The King Fabulous was very, to me, I was very disappointed
Oh,
because
really?
I was so blown away just from the Lost Cherry that when the effing, I'm sorry, pardon me, the King Fabulous
You
came
can
out.
certainly say effing. Yeah, effing
Yeah,
is
yeah.
okay. Yeah.
The effing Fabulous came out, and I was so excited to go smell it because I really thought he was going to take it to a higher tier for me
Mm.
personally than this. And I'm sorry to say I was a little disappointed. I wouldn't even buy it. I didn't like it. It was very, it was missing, for me, it was missing a lot of components. It was rather light than it was heavy and thick. So.
Okay, there's certainly a huge range of different things from that brand. You know, there are some really old school smelling things,
Mhm.
oud things. So there's something for
Mhm.
everyone, but there may
Yeah.
very well be ones that some people just
Also,
don't take to.
Dan, let me share. Like he has
Mm.
one also with leather and tobacco. I
Oh,
can't remember the name. Maybe it's called leather and tobacco. But upon smelling it, it
yeah.
smelled to me like a horse saddle, and I
It's,
just don't because of the leather
mm.
smell. And I thought to myself, why on earth would I want to put a Tom Ford fragrance on and smell like it's a leather from a horse saddle?
It's not Tuscan. Do you mean
That's just what I
Tuscan leather?
got from it. You know, I was very like, wow, but I
Yeah.
guess maybe it's an enhancer. Maybe perhaps you'd wear that with something else. I
Was
don't
that
know, but that's the way I interpreted it.
was it Tuscan leather?
That was it.
Okay, because yeah, that's a very much a hit or miss one for people. You know, people either love that or they hate it.
It was
Most of
actually
the
quite bitter. How do you feel about that?
I actually had a really good clone of it by Versace called La Yukawam, and I've obviously tried the original, but this other clone is sort of quite not a very cheap clone, but it was very close, and I
Good.
liked
Good.
it as a sort of artistic thing, but I've very rarely worn it, and when I
Sure.
have showed it to any lady friends, they almost invariably weren't too keen on it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
The nose always knows. At least mine does. But then let's move on to the next one.
yep.
Let's go. Let's go to Versace. I love Eros.
Okay, let's just
I
have a
wear it
look
all
at
the
that
time.
bottle. Let's have a look at that wonderful bottle design. Yeah, it's
Typical of
spectacular.
Versace. Typical of Versace. Just look, it's just beautiful.
And that's the Eros
Just
Eau de
beautiful.
Parfum there,
It
yes?
is, yes.
Is that there was an original Eau de Toilette, is that right?
I'm not sure. It's quite
Okay,
possible,
I'll just
but
check that
I
and just
don't like to buy the Eau de Toilettes because they're a little bit lighter for me. I like to
yeah.
wear a pretty heavy, long-lasting, fragrance when I can.
Okay, I'm
But
just going to
I
check that
love the
actually.
Eros. Just love it.
What is it you like about that one so much?
It lasts long, and it's a very unique smell. It's not something that you smell every day. It's not overly spicy, but there's components in there and some combinations that are, again, very, very unique, I guess, for Versace. And it's like Credaventus. When you wear it out, it's noticeable, and you can get compliments. Now, sometimes when I go out alone, I'll put this on and I'll wear some of my plain Pheromone cologne along with it, and you're locked and loaded, ready to go. That's what it's for.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that actually. So, yeah, by the way, for the viewers, then, that the Eau de Parfum actually came out in 2020, whereas the original Eau de Toilette had been out for quite a few years before that. Similar kind of DNA, I think, but a slightly enriched version. So, yeah, people obviously may want to buy your fully fledged perfumes with the pheromones in them.
They're
but
amazing.
the other option, if they do have a favorite signature scent that they still want to enjoy, how would you go about using one of your pheromone sprays that is essentially unperfumed, although it may have a slight aroma? How would you go about mixing that or blending it with
you never want to mix
your own fragrance?
You can never mix because you'll kill the purity right there, and then the pheromones most certainly wouldn't work accurately. But
how would you could wear both at the same time? You wouldn't mix them in the bottle, but you would.
You can. No, not at all. So, for example, if I was going out and I wanted to put on a base of the Lost Cherry, I'd spray the Lost Cherry on and let it do its thing for a couple minutes, and then when I'm done, I would go ahead and take some of my plain N09 Basque pheromone cologne and just spray it on right on top, and you're good to go. That's all you need to do.
You can spray it on the same spot where you've already applied some perfume.
You can, but it's pretty much evaporated by then. You're not putting it in like a wet zone, where you spray it because it's mist.
As long as it's become sort of touch dry where you've put the perfume, you can still apply it. Okay.
Correct. You combine them both. And I mean, that was our claim to fame originally, but I had gotten bored over the years. I wanted to do something with fragrances, and luckily I had a lot of money put away, and I was able to take time out and research, and I've just gotten so heavily into the French fragrances. It's gotten my full attention these days.
Okay, and it's pheromonecologne.com. I think you're currently just available in the States. So if customers there would like to go and check it out, go ahead. I think the fragrances come in 50 ml bottles. Is that right?
That is correct. They're 1.75 fluid ounce bottles.
Okay, and could you just remind us what's the price of those?
Pretty much every bottle, the French fragrances in the private collection, they're $225 a piece. But funny you should ask, Dan. Yes. I just put up on Instagram a sale that I'm doing on one of my favorites out of the whole collection is the Black Afghan. This fragrance is by far an incredible gourmand fragrance. You have butterscotch in here. You have a beautiful Belgium coffee espresso. You have vanilla. There's just so many delicious components in here. There's some beautiful French La Crèmes that we put in here. But when you put this on, you're like a walking dessert, Dan. I mean, this is it's so beautiful. I did an interview a year or so ago with Mr. Cologne 76.
Oh, yep, I know him well.
And Glenn is wonderful. He's wonderful.
Yes.
And I sent him a bottle of the Black Afghan, and it was just funny watching him. He kept saying, "Man, this stuff is sick. This is really, really sick." The fragrance, what it does, etc. And it was just so lovely to see someone with that level of experience complimented. But it's only $125 now on pheromonecologne.com.
Okay,
but
so
you have to, when you buy it, in the notes section, you have to put in IG and Instagram. And once I see that, I will refund you $100, and then you'll be getting this bottle for $125.
Oh, okay. So when they buy it on the site, they put in the comment section IG.
Instagram. That's correct. IG and then the word Instagram.
Oh, IG space Instagram.
Correct. And then we'll refund them $100, and they get their bottle sent for $125. And realize that in 16 years in business, we've never done this before. I've never discounted a bottle on the website ever. And I wanted to do this with the Black Afghan because, I want to give back now. It's time. We've been in business for 16 years. We're very successful. I'm very happy of everything we've done. We couldn't have done it without all you people supporting us out there. And it's nice to give back, Dan, a little bit. And that's what we're doing. And this is going to be the first sale of many coming up throughout the year. But we've never done this before. And I want more people to experience the wonderful things that you can get out of the Black Afghan. The real reason it's called Black Afghan is because, and I'm sorry I didn't mention it, it has a Black Afghan marijuana CBD strain.
Oh my God. Okay.
That's why it's called Black Afghan. So when you have this beautiful, it's very oud smelling, the CBD oil, and that might be coming out in some fragrances in the near future, because instead of using oud, you can use different types of marijuana CBD oils. And I was just experimenting, and it was very difficult to secure this oil, if you will, the Black Afghan CBD. And once we did, it was a hit since. And it really, really is a good, strong part of the base of the Black Afghan cologne. So, but it's a true gourmand.
So despite the coincidence in name, this fragrance isn't actually in any way inspired by Nascimato's Black Afghano.
No, can I be honest with you? I've never smelled that before.
Important question then. I'm really interested to know the answer to this one, actually. So that's got the pheromones in it, of course, which you're famed for.
Of course.
What sort of percentage of that is the pheromone? Is it just a tiny little thing that makes a huge difference? Or how does that work?
It's, again, the mixing ratios is priority. I'm sorry, it's not priority. You'll have to cut that for me, Dan, please.
Okay.
Let's try that again, take two. The mixing ratios are proprietary. So, what I can tell you is each bottle probably has close to, I'd say anywhere between, I don't even, Dan, I'm sorry, I don't want to say it.
It's a secret. It's a secret.
Not a secret, but when I do, everyone is going to start putting it on their brand. And yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. But the pheromones are in there, and they are added as part of the creation of the perfume, or after the actual perfume is added to the alcohol, or how does that work?
Well, they're actually infused. It's a process that's actually done through separation. You're mechanically separating, the fragrances and the oils and everything from the alcohol, and then you have to combine them drip by drip by drip. And they slowly infuse. It takes a little bit of time, but once that's complete, you have a great product.
Okay, it's fantastic. All right. And I think you're pretty unique in being a sort of high-end perfume with the pheromones. We've all heard of some very cheap kind of products out there claiming to be pheromone sprays, but I guess this is almost your unique selling point with these, is you're the first person to bring out a luxury perfume with pheromones. Is that right?
Well, yeah, we are. Most certainly. The private collection has been around now for about 5 years, I would say, 4 or 5 years. And like I said, it's completely occupying my full attention because I've just been so fascinated with fragrances. And now that I work, well, not now, but we've been working with them for a while with a French perfume master house fragrancer. I'm able to create things and produce things that most people perhaps would not. It's quite exotic. What we can do.
I'm absolutely fascinated. I make it clear to the viewers that we're not in a collaboration here, and I haven't actually had the opportunity to try this. I'm just genuinely interested. So go and check out the website, and you can find out more about these guys. Okay,
so I want to share. There's one more cologne I want to share. This is a neat one. This is an oud-based cologne, and it's called Vresiana, and it's from Dubai. But I wanted to show you all this bottle, how nice and furry it is. But
wow, if you just hold that up so we can, I'm going to try and dodge doing titles on this to save myself a bit of time. So let's make sure we can see. So it's Vresiana, yes, Vresiana.
Correct.
And what's the brand there, or is that the brand?
That is the brand.
And what's the name of the fragrance? Do you know?
It's called Nero.
Nero. Okay.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful oud-based fragrance. And
Yeah.
I mean, this is like, I can't even explain it. It's just really, really delicious. It's not overly heavy. It's not overly sweet, but it's quite unique. And personally, I just love it. It's sweet. It's rich. It's got a little bit of spice to it. Some exotic, some oud. It's quite nice. Yeah.
What is? Hang on. Whoops. Let me just fix that. Sorry. What on earth is going on with that bottle there? That is.
Oh no, I guess they kind of like the black furry thing, you know. I never saw anything like it. I was like, let's try it, you know, and it's wonderful.
And where did you discover that one? I've never
I
heard
got
of
this
these
at
guys.
like there was a perfume show that I went to. That was it was a small boutique event with a perfume store that I went to, and they were showing the line. Actually, I think it was. I don't think he was the owner, but he was the GM, I believe, and he was presenting the line. And I tried it, and I'm like, it's absolutely delicious. I wanted to support him, and I
I
bought
love
a
it.
bottle. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Okay, I
Fun.
think you've got one more because I asked you to pick out which of your recent releases are you most enthused about at the moment. So I think
Wow,
it's
I'll tell
a
you.
very summer appropriate one for citrus
I'll
lovers.
tell you,
Yes,
yes, indeed. That would be the newly labeled and formulated Tangerine Dream. I don't know if you can see that,
oh,
everyone.
it's beautiful. Yeah.
But since we redesigned the label, I don't know what happened, but the spike in these sales went up. I guess that's why I wanted to redesign the label, because I wanted something fresh. But it seems to be taken very quite nicely. So this is lovely. It's a beautiful, beautiful Italian tangerine fragrance, and the fragrance really comes from Calabria, Italy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of orchards out there, lemon orchards, tangerine orchards, orange orchards, and we were able to secure a very, very nice tangerine, fragrance from Italy, and that's what this has been. And believe it or not, this bottle was the very first in the private collection. This was my first.
Oh, it was. Oh,
This was
okay.
my first baby when I ventured into doing fragrances. When I had all the technology lined up, everyone was ready to go, and I came out with the Tangerine Dream, and it blew out. I mean, people were buying this all over the place. It was crazy.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it's not a new release, but you've revamped the look with the
Yeah, I
new
just wanted
label
to
there.
redo
Yeah.
the label because I
Okay.
was just so wanting to get it out there so quickly for everyone to have it and enjoy it.
I must say that one appealed
Yeah.
because I'm a great lover of citrus ones. So yeah, that
It's
one stands out as one I'd love to
absolutely
try.
beautiful. This is
Yeah.
something you can wear every single day and be happy with it everywhere you go.
And these are concentrated at sort of eau de parfum level, is that right?
Oh, they're all eau de parfums.
Yeah.
They're all, every one is a cologne eau de parfum for men, or we have the 3 perfumes for women.
Yeah, absolutely. So go and check out the site, guys. Like I say, I haven't had the opportunity. I would love to try them, but I haven't had the opportunity. And
I wish you could, Dan.
I know
I
people
wish
in the
you
comments
could.
will have their opinions on pheromones, and as long as it's all reasonable, I do enjoy a little bit of back and forth. So let us know your thoughts on this. Has anyone tried these? I'd really like to know that. And
I have.
well, this guy, I think you were giving them a thumbs up, right?
Dan, I'll tell you, a lot of my friends, they ask me, I share stories. They're unbelievable. I mean, I could share one with you now, but you probably wouldn't believe me. Who's going to believe this?
Go for it.
It's just so great. Well,
Try me.
Okay, I'll tell you a story. This is really interesting. So
here we go, viewers. Here we go. Okay.
This is going back in 2009.
Yeah.
Okay? 2009, when I first formulated my very first bottle of Pheromone cologne. I think I have one here. Would you like to see it real quick?
Yes.
Hang on a second, please.
Okay.
Excuse me.
All right, we're going to find out.
Okay.
Here he comes.
Here we go. Lucky. Look at this. And it's not normal to have one of these around, but this right here, folks, was our very, very first bottle of high potency Pheromone cologne back in 2009, number 9 Basque. And then once this became very popular and I was more educated on the science, we offered a white label for women. Okay. So here's the story. Okay. I had my very first bottle that I made myself with my biotech engineers and scientists. Okay.
Yeah.
This was my first prototype.
Yeah.
Here I was, I'm living in downtown Fort Lauderdale, Florida at the time. And I thought to myself, okay, Matt, let's try this. And opened the bottle, did a couple roll-ons, opened my shirt, a couple roll-ons there. And I went out to this place called Yolo's. It's a really nice indoor-outdoor kind of a bar restaurant, and a lot of really, really nice people get together there. It's a very popular location. It's no longer in existence, but it once was. Mm-hmm. And this is unbelievable. I'm going to give you another story after this of one of my friends who actually broke the record of a come on. Okay. So this is what happened. I literally walked into the bar. Okay. I walked inside, and it's open air, and I sat down the corner of the bar, and I had a shirt, and my shirt was unbuttoned a bit. It's Florida. It's hot, you know? Yeah. And I'm sitting there, and I ordered a vodka and soda with a lime twist. And the bartender brings the drink over, and I'm sitting there. No more than 3 minutes goes by. I take a sip of my drink. I feel these hands come over my eyes and behind me. And I'm thinking it's a friend of mine, it's a girlfriend of mine, something like that. And I hear a whisper in my ear. It's a woman, and she says, my friend and I would like you to come sit with us at our table. And I know it's a joke because when does this kind of thing happen? And remember, I just walked in the place. Okay? Yeah. So the wind was flowing. I saw where they were sitting. I did the science, the mechanics worked. The wind and the breeze was blowing my cologne and the Pheromone cologne that I had on in their general direction. They're about maybe 8 feet away from me. And I'm real excited to see whose hands these were. So I slowly peel her hands off, and I turn around, and lo and behold, there's this beautiful, beautiful brunette wearing this beautiful, classy black dress. I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but I know her girlfriend's name was Madonna. Not the singer Madonna, but her name was Madonna. So her friend was a beautiful, tall, blonde woman from Iran, gorgeous, wearing this tight, short sequence dress, and her name was Madonna. So I went back to the table and sat with them and had drinks, and we had a very, very interesting night from there on in. And I'll let your viewers use their imagination. What I can tell you is I came home, it was probably about 5 or 6 o'clock that next morning. So that's a great story. That was the first, and I swear on my life, that was the first time anything like this ever happened from this little bottle. And you have to realize, so when I'm going home, back home, 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, whatever, I'm telling myself or asking myself, Matt, what the hell just happened? Has this ever happened to you before, where you went out and you had these 2 beautiful women pick you up in a small kind of a restaurant? Was it you? My ego, would like maybe to think so. Nah, it's not possible. Nothing like this ever happened to me before, Dan. Yeah. Lo and behold, this little bugger was responsible for an incredible night. Now, another quick story. I have a buddy of mine. His name is Rick. Okay, Rick's an attorney, and I met Rick while I was actually paddleboarding out in the waters, in the intercoastals in the ocean in Fort Lauderdale. It's just great exercise. And we met, and we were talking, and he asked me what I did, and I told him, and he was a big doubter. Just, oh, come on, really? I said, yeah. And I was already in business for a couple of years at the time. And Rick and I became quite friendly. So he finally got around to pull the trigger, and he bought the Blue Label. And the Blue Label is, it's a combination of androstenedione and oxytocin, excuse me. It's been a long week.
So this is another of the pure pheromone thing. There's no perfume here. Yeah, unscented. Okay. So as was the other one, yeah.
Right. He bought the Blue Label. And he said, okay, let's try this. So we went out, and it was myself, my friend Scott, and Rick, and we met at this really cool little pub downtown Fort Lauderdale. I can't remember the name of it. And so help me, I'm sitting down. My buddy Scott is to my left, and Rick is standing behind me, and he wore his Blue Label Pheromone cologne. And it wasn't so busy. The bar was kind of slow. The pub was kind of slow. Not that many people walking in. All of a sudden, the door opens to my right, and a line of 5 girls walk in the bar. One goes behind me, and Rick's behind me. 2, 3, and the 4th girl stops, and she's looking at Rick, and they make eye contact. And within, I'd say about 35, 40 seconds, the 2 of them are making out right behind me, like they're just making out. And I'm looking at Scott, and do you see this? Look at Rick. And they eventually went outside, and they came back in 40 minutes later. And Rick told me what happened, and I never saw anything like that happen before in my life. This never happened to him before, but lo and behold, what was he wearing for the first time? The number 9 Basque Blue Label. So that's a nice story of many. The reason I'm sharing these stories is because I have so many people that tell me, you've been doing this, Matt, for 16 years, 17 years now. Write a book about your experiences. And if I get around to it, maybe I will. But those are just some of the many, many stories of things that have personally happened to me and have happened to my friends. So I hope your viewers will believe it. I have no reason to make it up. So it's just fun to share.
Yeah, you certainly told both stories well, and I think people will have their opinions, but I think they will certainly have enjoyed hearing those. So that was. I'm glad you shared those with us.
Hey Dan, I have something for you. Yes. Would you like to see the daily production for Friday before we close the week out?
Please. Yeah, the viewers would love to see something a bit different, I think. Yeah.
I'll show everyone a little bit of what we're doing here. Okay, let's try this.
Let's go. I'll put you full screen. Here we go. Take your time.
Can you see?
Yeah, looking good. All right. Okay, so this is Lust. Obscene. Coco Chocolat. And this is today's production run, is that right?
This is today's production for Friday. So it's about 36, 37 bottles total.
Okay.
There you have it.
It's nice to have a little insight. So you're at the place where they're made there, are you?
Of course, I own the operation.
Yeah, and you make them in obviously quite small batches then.
Sorry, no. Well, they're made to order. Each bottle is made to order. Oh, it's very time-consuming and quite tedious. It's not something that you can stock or just blow out. 150, 200 bottles at a time. No, there's a lot of care and a lot of just personal due diligence that go into making these bottles. I'll tell you something. The pheromone molecules. This bottle is so underrated. The fragrance is mind-boggling, everyone. It's a showstopper, and I just want to make people aware of that. The name might not sound so great, pheromone molecules. It might sound kind of dry, but trust me, this is a French fragrance masterpiece. It's
and what is the scent? What is it smelling like?
Oh gosh, you know what I can honestly say? This is something similar to like maybe the Tom Ford Soleil Blanc, but not as explosive, not as it's sweeter, okay? It's a much sweeter explosive, if you will. Not as intense as the Soleil Blanc, but it's absolutely delicious and people just love it. But I just wanted to plug that one just real quick with you. Fantastic.
Nice. And it's nice to have a little view of your production lineup for the day. So that was really nice. Okay, Matt, that's been absolutely fantastic. I've really enjoyed talking to you again. Guys, go and check out the site. And let us know what you thought of the video. And we'd love to have you on again sometime soon because always a pleasure to talk to you.
Dan, thank you so much. I love coming on your show anytime.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Remember, whatever we do in life, let's project. And although sometimes life may stink, at least we can always smell good, right? Bye bye.